Jamarl Thomas, and welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So I would like to go to another video from Sane Progressive. So I mentioned before I like Debbie, she's cool people. And so I do get a chance to see her videos every so often. And so today she had on a woman from an organization called PIP. It's some kind of community organizing thing dealing with multiple groups. And when they got on the subject of Justice Democrats, the conversation took a very bizarre turn. So I'm not going to say anything, I'm just going to play it, and we'll discuss after. It's only like 3 minutes.
Why it's in this situation, and nobody seems to have the appetite to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very magical thinking.
And I have to say, I was, sorely disappointed in this Justice Democrats movement by Chang of TYT, because those are antiquated ideas of hierarchical structures, of this hyper-testosterone, we're going to decide by ourselves where this movement goes, where we're trying to, include and have the voice be of the people, of the various activism and actions, and no doubt the Black Lives Matter, like their voices need to be in this deciding, up front, deciding with us and us behind them. And so this idea that a few guys are going to get together and decide we're all pour our money into Justice Democrats, really makes me mad. It's like, we're done with that kind of system. This is the world of women now. We're embarking on 2017. This is the year of women to be leading, and it's also the year of women of color, who've been by far the most marginalized group of citizens we have, and it's time for us to lift these marvelous, beautiful voices up. And so our movement is so much more than the product. It's how we conduct ourselves. It's how we do our process. We have to walk our talk. In November, we're not on ballots, so we endorsed Green candidates. We endorsed progressive Democrats. We endorsed independents, and we first endorsed those from the most marginalized, underrepresented class of people, because that's what's right. And when you lead with your values, you just attract people who lead with and act on their values. And so we just keep going, keep walking our talk. But, I think the Justice Democrats and who's ever making those decisions needs to come to the table with the rest of the movement. They are no better than us. They're directing tens of thousands of people and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and while our activists don't have food. They have no shelter. We're fighting, for the people, and they're taking our support and our funds away from this vital movement. So shame on them, and I invite them to the next summit to sit and look at us face to face and tell us, why they get to decide, and time to listen to other voices.
So you said a lot there.
Yeah, she
a couple
did.
points. I think what you're talking about is with women is we do have a community collaborative.
I like Debbie, but on that one she's like, alright, I need to clean that shit up because that went horrible. What the hell is this woman talking about? She says they're taking our support. Shame on them. Nobody's taking your support. And they get to choose because it's his organization. That's why he gets to choose. She's like, you're no better than us. Who the hell said they were better than you? Why is this? What the hell are you talking about? You're no better than us. They think they're better than us. This sounds like a massive inferiority complex. At the very least, an extraordinary insecurity. They think they're better than us? Where does that even come from? That's amazing. Shame on you for trying to get money out of politics and not having the decency to allow me to be a part of the organization. She's like, this is a year of woman. Why is gender a topic of this conversation? honestly, I mean, come on. If we're being completely unbiased and we're being completely fair, why is gender a part of this conversation? We're talking about very specific things. Money out of politics, either a new party or some kind of reinvigoration of the Democratic Party where you're going to reinsole it. None of those things are specific to gender. In fact, gender has no association with any of those objectives. Why are we talking about gender? And what do you mean you're no better than us? Where does that come from? I know I keep going back to that. But that's just such a weird thing for her to work herself up and be like, you're no better than us! Like, oh, alright, man. Calm down, dog. It's alright. Jesus Christ. Why are you tearing them down? I don't understand this, this weird aggrievement. It's like you're taking shots at them. These guys came out and said, we are sick of these weak Democrats, and we're going to try to reinsole the party. Now, you may disagree with how they're going about trying to do it. Of course, you're free to disagree. But they've done nothing to you. I mean, they've injured you in no way. And why are you bugging out that they're going about this in a different way than you're going about it? Are you telling me that you're so ideologically pure that you're going to be such a Nazi that you can't let another test case, another trial balloon to go up and see how far it can get? Is that what you're really saying? I mean, that sounded like the conversation you just had. That they should come to us and they must be a part of us. They're no better than us. They're so hierarchical, and this is the year of woman. Come on, man, this is insane. What are your objectives? Like, is your goal, are you so ideologically pure that it needs to be a very specific way that you're thinking about this unfolding? Because, look, reality is not going to conform to the way that you want it to conform. What I mean is, elections cost money. So, of course they're going to try to raise money. Because election costs money. 90% of the seats are won with the side with the most money. Look, and I'm not saying necessarily cater to cash. They're not going to go through corporate cash. I'm just saying that what you're saying is untethered to the reality of the electoral system, that if you're trying to field candidates, those candidates are going to have to run it. That's all I'm saying. Also, just to knock down a few of these points, because some of this stuff was just nonsensical. They're trying to field candidates from all across the country. There is nothing to stop somebody from No Dapple or Black Lives Matter or, I mean, anything for that matter. And the environmental movements, the whatever. All of those candidates, all of those people can run. They can put their name in the hat and see if they can get up there. There's going to be some kind of process or selection process. But there's nothing to stop anybody in this country who wants to do it. It is a wide open book in that sense. You're acting as if there is this master, complete structure where there's one dictator at the top and he's throwing down proclamations to everybody at the bottom. That is not a fair representation of reality. I don't know what that's a fair representation of, but it has nothing to do with reality. Yes, it's his organization. Yeah, he's going to be making the decisions for the most part in that organization. But again, this is done in a grassroots way. They're pulling people from all over the country to run in pretty much anything. They're trying to literally take over the country. And it's the first ironclad, structured idea that I've heard in a long time of trying to do it. You can sit there and pout and try to take shots at it, but they are trying to do something. Leave them to their own devices. You can joke them all you want. You can pretend as if what they're doing is not going to work. You can berate them and all that stuff. But there's no basis in reality. And to be honest, this says more about you than it says about them. They are trying to make a difference. Whether it works or not, they are trying to make a difference. I don't quite understand your motivation in this. The question is, what are you trying to accomplish? And why do you care if how it's accomplished is done in a way that you didn't necessarily conceive of? You know, as for this, you know, she's making mention of this hierarchical structure and everything else. Look, personally, I think movements need a figurehead. And look, you might say, you're just being a guy. That may be true. But a figurehead, you need somebody who can make certain decisions. And you can't necessarily get a consensus vote every time you need to get something done. So while I totally respect you trying to create that model, we kind of want somebody to run. And we kind of want somebody to try to get into that system and to change that system. I don't think there's anything wrong at all with having multiple test cases and multiple directions and trying to actually achieve the same ends. Why are you attacking them? You should be working in coordination with them. I mean, and when I mean coordination, you are actively attacking them with the idea of, they should come and talk to us. I'm so important. They need to come and talk to us. Why? Why are you doing this? I don't quite get it. I mean, look, anybody can take shots at them, but the shots that she's taking just sound so weird. They're not better than us. They're taking support from us. Shame on them. It's the year of the woman. I voted for Joe Stein for president. Let's see. I hoped Elizabeth Warren ran in the last one. I have no issue with it being the year of the woman, the year of the frog, the year of the man, the year of whatever. I just want a better fucking country and a better world. I am less picky about how I get to that better world. I mean, if what Cenk is doing bears fruit, great. If what you're doing bears fruit, great. And I would support both methods. Because I think whatever path gets us to the finish line is the path we should take. And if we're going to have multiple threading software, it just means multiple lines going simultaneously. If we're going to have multiple lines of multiple things, of ways of attacking the exact same apple in different ways, it gives us indication of what may work, what works better than others, and all sorts of things. I mean, I don't like this adversarial relationship starting off the bat, just right off the bat. I don't get it. Again, even if you don't think it would necessarily work, what does that have to do with you attacking their organization for trying? I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, these attacks sounded personal. You're no better than us. Taking support. And one last point. She made reference to this hierarchical structure and how it's an antiquated hierarchical structure. And saying that it didn't work and all this other stuff. What are you talking about? Look, I don't know the degree that the Young Turks is, how this organization is set up. I do know that part of the people were working with the Bernie supporters, or Bernie people who helped this campaign. I have a hard time believing that it's this dictatorship of sorts that you bring up. I mean, they're literally trying to build a grassroots movement. This movement will encompass all sorts of voices that are part of the process. I don't know. I don't get it. As for antiquated, Occupy Wall Street failed. You get that, right? I mean, that was your model. The model that you're talking about is effectively Occupy Wall Street. This decentralized structure where everybody is trying to kind of reach a consensus and everybody can be their own thing. No, if you want to get shit done, there is a certain degree of falling in line to get shit done. Figureheads they get shit done. I mean, look, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Gandhi, Mandela. Notice I'm naming names, not their movements. I'm naming their names. Those names can be the figurehead of something greater than themselves, like Batman, dressing up like a bat. yes, that person is there, but that person has such a gravitas about him for what that person stands for that he becomes of mythic proportions. But those are done by people. There is nothing wrong with having a figurehead of an organization. That figurehead is working to achieve a particular objective. How is that a bad thing? And whether it's antiquated or not, what I do know is Occupy Wall Street failed to field any candidates. I mean, to be fair to them, I don't even know if they tried. All I'm saying is, if you want to affect legislation, you're either going to put people in office to change their legislation, or you're going to scare the shit out of them. Get them to bend to your will. Occupy Wall Street had the potential for something awesome. But there was no figurehead in that to guide that in that way. Like, that's the point I'm making. It's not so simple to say, it feels good to be like, no, it's going to be a decentralized structure where everybody has an opinion, everybody's just going to, be free-flowing with ideas, man. That sounds good. But my objective is to change the world. And that's not going to help me change the world. At least not in the sense of an organized movement of making gains. Wins beget wins. This feels nice. But what Justice Democrats are doing, they're trying to be effective, not necessarily nice. And I'm sorry that you feel some kind of way about it, which again, I don't quite understand why you feel any particular way about it. But yeah, I'm sorry you feel some way about it. I will likely support your organization the same way I support theirs. But because again, the point is the end goal. And if I get there on a horse, carriage, a motorcycle, or a goat, I would prefer to get there. Stop this infighting shit. Work together, man. And work together because you guys are working towards a common goal. And get off your high horse of talking about shame on you. Shame on you what? Shame on you for shaming on somebody else. Yeah. Alright guys, thank you.